Good evening and welcome. This is the India Today newsroom. I'm Rahul Kamal. Is the government deliberately underplaying the extent of the dengue and chikungunya epidemic? Are figures being kept artificially low? That's our top focus on the newsroom tonight. At one of Delhi's premier hospitals, relatives of patients coming to blows with hospital staff. Anger in the capital is boiling over. But the Delhi government seems bent on underplaying the problem.
12 हॉस्पिटल में गया और सभी जगह इंजाम बहुत अच्छे थे और मुझे लगता है कि जो लोग अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं उनकी तारीफ करनी भी आनी चाहिए. हमें मुझे लगता है हमारी डिक्शनरी में एक ही वर्ड आया है, सिर्फ क्रिटिसिज्म.
On Newsroom tonight, a shocking reality check from across Delhi's hospitals. The blood mafia profiting from the health crisis. No minister, things are not fine. And it's time that the Delhi administration wake up to the mosquito menace. That's our top focus on the newsroom tonight. Also on the newsroom this evening, an exclusive interaction with Lalu Prasad Yadav. Relationship between the JDU and the RJD deeply strained because of Shahabuddin. Lalu seems to be backing the Don. He's joining us at 10:30 p.m. this evening. Let's get started. Here are the top 10 headlines at 10 p.m. on the newsroom tonight. CBI files a case in journalist Rajdeo Ranjan's murder case. Lens on Bihar's most wanted Mohammad Shahabuddin. Another blow to the Don. Siwan administration shoots off a report to the Bihar government, seeks the re-arrest of RJD Don Shahabuddin. Nitish Kumar says the law will take its own course. As the big Samajwadi split widens, party patriarch Mulayam Singh Yadav reaches Lucknow to resolve the crisis. Uncle Shivpal Yadav says nobody can challenge Mulayam's decisions. Supreme Court pulls up Karnataka and Tamil Nadu over the Kaveri dispute. The top court says both states must ensure peace, harmony and respect for the law. Kannada right leaders. Rail Roko fizzles out. Supreme Court quashes the death sentence of a rape convict in the brutal rape and murder case of 23-year-old Soumya. She was raped and allegedly pushed out of a moving train in February 2011. 29 persons on board the missing AN-32 aircraft officially declared dead. Air Force to formally suspend search and rescue operations. The Air Force writes to the kin to accept the demise. First major fallout of the Kashmir unrest. PDP MP Tariq Khara resigns from both the party and the Lok Sabha, accuses the PDP of becoming a collaborator of the RSS. Major relief for Noida home buyers. Supreme Court takes on realty giant Parshvanath, asks it to pay 12 crore rupees to 70 home buyers who weren't given their flats. 11-day Ganpati extravaganza ends. Large crowds gather in the Maximum City to bid adieu to Ganpati Bappa. An actor Ranbir Kapoor and father Rishi Kapoor make headlines as they get into a brawl during Ganpati Visarjan in Mumbai. We get you the full story in just a bit. As the dengue and chikungunya epidemic spreads in the national capital as elsewhere, the government seems to be bent on conveying a picture which suggests that things aren't so bad, that the situation is actually quite under control. To see whether this was actually the truth or not, India Today sent its correspondents out to various hospitals and they put together this shocking reality check.
India Today reporters exposing the apathy in capital's top government-run hospitals. A father forced to run around carrying his sick son wrapped in a blanket at the RMN hospital because there were no stretchers available. An old lady who can barely walk, but she's not given a wheelchair. She's also refused a bed in the hospital. Images of dogs having a free run in the OPD of a hospital with no one to shoo them away. Many other images which should but no longer shock us.
पता नहीं, इनकी मर्जी है जी, ये तो मर्जी के मालिक हैं, हॉस्पिटल इनका अपना है, तो कह रहे हैं नहीं पैरासीटामोल ही देना है, घर ले जाओ, लिक्विड पिलाओ। मैंने कहा सर एक बार देख तो लो बच्चे को, बोले देखना क्या है, सबका यही हाल है।
Elsewhere at the Madan Mohan Malviya Hospital, long queues at the OPD are a norm, with patients having to wait for a doctor for hours.
People out here who have come morning at 6 o'clock still waiting for their turn. We have some fever patients, some chikungunya patients, some dengue patients waiting for their turn and still not able to do their basic checkup.
India Today met this patient Aslam, who has come all the way from Bengal to get himself treated for the now dreaded disease. He has not had a doctor to look at him till late evening.
9 बजे से करीब रुका हूँ, एक हफ्ते से छुट्टी है। यहाँ तो मेडिसिन मिलता है लेकिन चालू वाली मिलती है, बाहर से महंगा वाली खरीदना पड़ता है, पैसा ज़्यादा फट जाता है, हम कहाँ से पैसा लाएंगे?
The doctors are meanwhile blaming inaction by civic agencies for the spread of the disease.
For the hospital, I can say that we have been preparing for it for some time. We have got all the preparations done. We are managing the patients properly. We have got adequate stock of the drugs. We have adequate beds also there. We have procured additional beds if there is a requirement. As far as the hospital part is concerned, we have made enough arrangements for managing the patients.
Enough has not been done on many levels. We have seen on the fogging level, we have seen whether it is called the hospitals who were not prepared on time. The ministers supposed to take care of this are not at town really looking at the situation here. In days to come, the numbers could rise. There is no certainty with this. Of course, there is definitely a bigger problem with a bigger worry for the citizens at the national capital as the number of fever cases rise each day, each hour and each minute in each hospital.
3 days of continuous reporting on the political apathy in Delhi. 3 days in which the chikungunya death toll has hit double digits. Netas finally woke up, setting aside their political rivalries to take care of the national capital. It may have been a forced handshake, but an Aam Aadmi Party minister and a BJP MP were on the streets of Delhi together, biting back at mosquitoes and not each other. Bureau Report, India Today.
Remember, before India Today carried out the reality check on the state of fogging machines, most of the fogging machines were lying unused, dysfunctional. After our expose, suddenly everyone from the MCD to leaders from the UP going around the city trying to use the same fogging machines that for the longest time were lying unused. I now get you the second part of an India Today investigation, which looks at how hospitals have turned into virtual mafia zones where you've got unscrupulous people hanging around trying to make money even as patients suffer. Remember, blood that should be available for free at government hospitals and also platelets which are desperately required by patients who might be suffering from dengue. That blood and those platelets are being sold, in some cases up to 25,000 rupees, trying to make the most of the misery of the poor patient.
One of Delhi's worst health crises. City hospitals bursting at the seams, with patients diagnosed with debilitating mosquito-transmitted dengue and chikungunya. India Today's special investigation team probes hospitals run by the Delhi government. Most of whose ministers have been in absentia when the health emergency peaked. Our undercover reporters make a stunning discovery. Underhand red market profiteering from short supplies of blood and platelets. Hospital staff turn blood touts to cash in on desperation from shortages. At the LNJP hospital, the largest run by Delhi government, India Today's crew, posing as relatives of a critical dengue patient, meet this employee. The man quickly activates his network of middlemen to arrange blood and platelets from the black market. By now, they believed our undercover reporters need the blood urgently.
ये दिक्कत नहीं चाहिए कि हम आप लोग करवा दें और फिर आप लोग बोले नहीं हमें नहीं चाहिए वापस ले लो पैसे बता दो भाई पूछ पास के पूछ ले डॉक्टर से पूछ ले बात कर ले कि भाई हमारे से
It is 3,000 rupees for a single unit. Next, India Today investigation finds this racket also traded in platelets as demands soar.
प्लेट्स वाली बात है वो तो अलग बात की बात है ना कितना प्लेट्स अगर लगे तो 12,000 प्लेट से 12,000 पर यूनिट और डोनेशन के लिए ब्लड के लिए 3,000 ब्लड 35 रुपये लेते हैं ब्लड डोनेशन का 35 लेते हैं.
Delhi's underground red market thriving on the back of health crisis. Higher the demand, more the profits, as patients struggle to save the lives of their dear ones because of chronic shortages of blood. This is a Nitin Jain, Amit Chaudhary, India Today's Special Investigation Team report.
We've now got some breaking news coming in, and the World Health Organization has pulled up the Delhi government for its accounting standards, saying that enough number of cases are not being reported and that the situation is actually being underplayed. Gaurav Sawant has been going through this WHO release. Gaurav, it seems quite upset with the lack of transparency in the manner in which dengue and chikungunya cases are being accounted for.
Rahul, the WHO report very clearly says that unless you assess the problem correctly, unless you diagnose an ailment correctly, you cannot cure it. And unfortunately, this is being underplayed is the WHO assessment. More than 50,000 cases across the country, 80 lives lost already. So what the WHO is suggesting, Rahul, is not just those cases that come to government hospitals, but even those that go to private hospitals should be considered, and not just the confirmed cases of dengue, Rahul, or chikungunya, but even probable cases should be mentioned so that proper
right now it's
redressal
only cases
mechanism
of that come to government hospitals that are being considered.
Yes,
that's a big problem.
That's the problem, because
It
a lot
says
of people are going
surveillance
to
for dengue and chikungunya in India presently captures only those patients that are laboratory confirmed at government identified sentinel hospitals. Most of these are in the public sector. Given that substantial population visits the private sector for seeking healthcare in India, it is important that information from private hospitals and facilities is captured and well presented for better understanding and estimation of the national disease burden of these infections. Very crucial, this rap coming from the WHO, because that's the point that I've been making. Are we underplaying the problem? Thank you so much, Gaurav, for joining us with that live update. We've seen so far the situation in government hospitals, but it turns out that the situation in private hospitals is actually no better. India Today reporters went across to different private hospitals to get us this story about how they seem just as badly off and as deluged by the torrent of patients coming into them as the government hospitals.
These are the scenes from one of the biggest government-run hospitals in Delhi. Guards and, believe it or not, bouncers stationed at the gate. Their job to filter patients entering the hospital. This man tried to film them and was immediately accosted by bouncers.
कह रहे आप इस तरह से क्या कर रहे हैं? मैं ये फ़ोटो खींची है, लोग दुखी हैं, तो कह रहे हमें ऊपर से ऑर्डर है, आप इस तरह नहीं कर सकते, ये नहीं कर सकते, वो नहीं कर सकते, और मेरे ऊपर काफ़ी दबाव डालने की कोशिश की गई.
If you expected any better from the more expensive private hospitals, look at this notice. Leaving patient hung out to dry. Private hospitals are no different. Wards are overflowing. There are more family members than patients packed into them. Corridors have not been spared either. They're packed with families and patients waiting and hoping for their turn. As a last resort, patients are being put on drips even as they sit on chairs, waiting for a bed.
मैं तो सुबह आया था, दिक्कत बहुत है, आदमी पेशेंट यहाँ बहुत ज़्यादा है, बहुत पेशेंट है और लोगों को यहाँ पैर रखने का जगह नहीं है।
बहुत भीड़ है, 2 घंटे 4 घंटे में रिपोर्ट मिली है, दिक्कत बहुत हो रही है, जगह ही नहीं है।
Expectedly, the nursing staff is overwhelmed. Patients are being sent back.
इसलिए हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जितना भी हो सकता है एकोमोडेट करें उनको, थोड़ा सा डॉक्टर्स को थोड़ा रेस्ट दे दें। इसलिए हमने कि वो नोटिस रहा कि बेड नहीं है, क्योंकि जहाँ भी बेड अवेलेबल है हम दे रहे हैं।
Ironically, even those given the responsibility for controlling the outbreak, councillors and civic agencies are themselves victims of the disease, like Shoaib Danish here. Bureau Report, India Today.
On the newsroom showdown tonight, is the Kejriwal government deliberately underplaying the scale of the dengue and chikungunya outbreak? That's the question now. The WHO also jumping into this debate. Joining us on the newsroom showdown tonight is Anil Handu. He's a consultant with the B.L. Kapoor Hospital. Sardar R.P. Singh is the National Secretary of the BJP. Ravi Srivastav is one of the founding members of the Aam Aadmi Party. I want to run first what Satinder Jain, Delhi's health minister, said. He says, and I quote here, there is no outbreak of chikungunya. This has been created by the media by spreading panic. We had made all preparations to deal with any outbreak 4 or 5 months ago. He thinks there's no outbreak and it is the media that is spreading panic. Ravi Srivastav, why is the Aam Aadmi Party government in denial? There is a disease that has spread. You need to work out ways of trying to deal with the situation instead of trying to make it seem as if it's no big deal. What's going on, sir?
I don't think that there is any kind of a denial. What Satyendra Jain has said, that it should not be spread beyond the proposition. What they are saying is that they are already working. They are already on the streets. They are doing the fogging. They are moving into hospitals. They are dealing with the patients and they are trying to help them out. At this stage, saying the government is not doing anything is totally unfair. And I would say that your report only, the last line shown there was a BJP MP and the Aam Aadmi Party MLA.
That after India Today's expose on the state of fogging machines, when we went to 15 different fogging machines across the capital, 13 of which we found were not working. The 2 machines that were working had operators telling us that they have 8 more machines lying with them which they weren't being able to use because they had no operators to use them. So don't tell me that BJP MPs are working with AAP MLAs. That happened after the India Today group expose. I want to go across to Dr. Anil Handu. Do you believe that the scale of the epidemic, because there are 2 things. There's the India Today investigation. There is what patients and doctors are telling us. Now there is the WHO release as well. Do you believe that a deliberate attempt is being made to mislead people by trying to convey a sense that nothing is the problem and that it's only a media scare? How do you respond, Dr. Handu?
Well, Rahul, what I would say is that there's no doubt about the fact that there is definitely an increase, a significant increase in the diseases which is happening right now. Most of them are febrile illnesses and most of them are either chikungunya and some viral illnesses which are not getting diagnosed. Now, just to sit idle and say that we are not having an outbreak is stupid, because unless you acknowledge a disease, will you be able to do something? You will not. So therefore, the most important thing is, yes, there's a big disease spread which has happened, and definitely a lot of people are suffering. We have hospitals all across Delhi which are overcrowded. There are a lot of patients making it very difficult for them to get the beds and get admitted. At the same time, I would also like to point out that there is also a high degree of fear among people. When the moment they get fever which is high grade, they start feeling that unless they get into a hospital and have a bed there and get admitted and perhaps get transfusions, they'll not feel better. This part of it also needs to be addressed, and people need to be advised not to start getting panicked about it.
Okay, that's a fair point. R.P. Singh, when the health minister of the capital says that this is a media created scare, that they've been preparing for it for 4 or 5 months, even though He himself was in Goa. Manish Sisodia is in Finland. The Chief Minister is in Bengaluru. Gopal Rai was in Chhattisgarh. One of them sacked for sexual, we saw that sex CD, one of them away for Hajj. But they're saying there's no panic. All is well. Delhi, all is well. Don't worry. How do you respond, RP Singh?
The issue is they are in denial mode, but you rightly said they are purely in denial mode. They are not accepting this epidemic in city today. And worst is when he says no one dies because of chikungunya, and he quotes some Google report. Let me quote from the WHO report, and I'm forwarding that for your cameraman to pan on it. See, categorically states in America, in Mexico, in Canada, there are more than 13 lakh cases, out of which 191 people died of chikungunya. It's not my report, it's the WHO report. But they are in denial mode. They say no one dies because of chikungunya. There's the problem. If they accept, yes, there's a problem, then there is a solution. And I'm giving you two, and then
That's a very, very important point. And before I ask that question to Ravi Srivastava, I want to play out what Satinder... You made a point, Mr. Singh. I want to play out what Satinder Jain said, because that is crucial. Why are they in denial? They're saying nobody dies of chikungunya. I'll show you some WHO figures. But before that, let's listen to the Health Minister.
कल मेरी नड्डा साहब से बात हुई, मैंने पूछा सर कहते पूरे हिंदुस्तान में कितनी डेथ हुई है, कहते एक भी नहीं हुई। लिटरेचर कह रहा है, जो डॉक्टर्स कह रहे हैं, जो साइंटिस्ट कह रहे हैं, वो कहते हैं नॉर्मली चिकनगुनिया से डेथ की थ्रेट नहीं होती है।
चिकनगुनिया से डेथ नहीं होती। We went to the WHO website. It says in 2005-2006 in Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean, there were 2.6 lakh chikungunya cases and 254 deaths because of chikungunya. Till April 2015, there were 13.7 lakh chikungunya cases and 191 deaths attributed to the disease in Latin America, in the Caribbean and in the United States. Ravi Srivastava, he says Google पे लिखा हुआ है कि चिकनगुनिया से डेथ नहीं होती. He should also just go a little further beyond Google to the WHO website that lists out the number of deaths because of chikungunya.
Rahul, yesterday 2 deaths have taken place in Mumbai. There are various cities, there are deaths because of the chikungunya and dengue happening. No, it's not a question of searching on Google. But what I am saying is that it is happening across the nation. It is happening in every major city. Let's look for the solutions. Let's work together. The government or state government or the central government, they all should work together.
Okay, let RP Singh respond to that. The other charge that the AAP is making is that the deaths are happening in different parts of the country, but if you see what the BJP is saying, it essentially seems as if chikungunya and dengue are only restricted to Delhi. It's not happening anywhere else. They're saying that everyone's being very selective in targeting Kejriwal.
Sir, it's a very easy way to deflect.
It's not that.
Last year when there was a dengue epidemic in Maharashtra, the government immediately said that any patient who goes to private or the government hospital, government will bear the expense, and they took charge of that and they paid the expense for every patient. Now, why can't Delhi government, I'm asking very simple things, very simple suggestions, and we are prepared to cooperate in that. Why can't Delhi government say chikungunya, dengue test is free? Why even paying 1,600 rupees? If you have to person has to go earning something like 15,000 rupees, go for chikungunya, dengue test, he shells out 1,300 rupees. That's the problem. Yesterday you showed a report where patients were being freezed for blood, platelets. This is the position now. After we said we are prepared that anyone who needs blood in Delhi, I'm saying on record, anyone who needs blood in Delhi can contact us on these numbers. We will give you blood free of cost. No, don't pay money for blood at least. When that's
Dr. Handu,
we can do.
I want to understand from you, where does the truth lie in this? Is it the case that you can't just die of chikungunya, but if you have some other medical complications and then you get chikungunya, then the chance of mortality increases? Or is it the case that you can die of chikungunya, period? Where does the reality lie medically, sir?
Okay. So if you look at chikungunya as a disease, chikungunya is a self-limiting viral disorder. And invariably when you have people who are in the younger age group, when I'm saying younger age group, I'm talking about people beyond the age of 15 and up to the age of about 45 to 50, these people will not generally have a disease which will be fatal. But if you talk about patients, who are very young in age, like infants, early childhood or late adulthood, all these are relatively vulnerable age groups. And in addition to that, if people have comorbid conditions like diabetes, like other diseases, other underlying diseases, they can potentially fall prey to this disease and die. So the people, in fact, majority of the deaths which have happened so far within Delhi NCR region have been the people either who've been on either extremes of the ages or who've had some underlying comorbid illness. So to say that the disease cannot be fatal at all is not right.
Absolutely.
What I would say is this definitely it can be fatal at some point of time with patients, you know, who are especially at the other ages.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to leave it
And,
there.
people
Dr.
obviously-
Anil Handu, Sardar RP Singh, Ravi Srivastava for joining us on the newsroom tonight. Thank you very much. As is very clear, from all of what we put out this evening, our ground reports, this statement put out by the WHO, an attempt is being made to underplay the extent of the problem. And for the life of me, I can't imagine why that's being done, because this is not about Kejriwal, this is not about the Aam Aadmi Party government, this is about a problem that the capital faces, a problem that everyone together needs to resolve, and it's not a political witch hunt, Mr. Kejriwal. This is your responsibility. You need to work with doctors, with citizens, to try and ensure that we put an end to this epidemic. You cannot run away from responsibility. You're not in opposition. You can't cry conspiracy. We've now got breaking news coming in that Shivpal Yadav has resigned from the Akhilesh cabinet. Joining us now is Executive Editor Javed Ansari, who understands UP politics better than most other journalists. Javed, this big breaking story, Shivpal Yadav, despite what Mulayam said today to India Today that Shivpal will stay on in the cabinet, he will stay on as party chief. He's resigned from the cabinet. Why did this happen? What can you tell us, Javed?
Well, it has happened to assuage Akhilesh Yadav, the Chief Minister's feelings, because the crisis had reached a deadlock. There was no way out. They had to give, something had to give. They had to offer a conciliatory, an olive branch to Akhilesh Yadav. He had exercised his prerogative, and therefore it had also, Shivpal Yadav's position had become extremely untenable. Without the portfolios that he held earlier, if he were to continue, he would have been absolutely lame duck, totally powerless. So there was very little in it for him to continue as minister. And if this gesture helped placate and assuage Mr. Akhilesh Yadav's hurt feelings, because he feels that he was unceremoniously dumped without even being told or informed or consulted on the change as party president of the state unit. So therefore, Shivpal Yadav appears to have taken this step to try and bring about some kind of a rapprochement. This, of course, at the behest of SP Supremo, Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav.
Okay, Javed, also some of the regional channels out of Uttar Pradesh are reporting that he stepped down from the post of state president as well. Remember when you were with us in Kanpur, when he came to our panchayat, and when he was asked about the issue of resignation, he said, no, this is one big family, things keep going wrong, but we will be able to put things back on track. So far, Mulayam and Akhilesh have not met. This time, it doesn't seem to be a usual family jhagda. This seems to be a bit more than that, Javed.
Well, far more serious, and this is perhaps the biggest crisis that has faced the SP and also the Yadav family. Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav has so far managed to use his seniority, his stature, to reconcile the conflicting claims within the party and within the family. This now appears to be a lot more serious, and Mulayam Singh has his task cut out on the eve of elections to bring the party together, to reunite the party, and above all, reunite his own family.
Okay, what does this mean for Akhilesh? Because on the one side, if Akhilesh is able to ensure that all these uncles who've been creating a headache for him the last 4.5 years are out, will that then give him the opportunity of going out to voters and saying that just focus on the work that I've done, all the irritants are now away from me and I don't need to be bogged down by their burden?
Look, even before Shivpal offered to resign, his supporters were already, as the Chief Minister's supporters were saying, this at least nails the propaganda that the opposition has been leveling, the charges the opposition has been leveling at the Chief Minister, that he was a puppet on a string and that the real shots were being called by his father and his uncles. This now shows that Akhilesh Yadav is his man. While this may be good for his image, I'm not so sure this is the politics of SP, because after all, votes in the scheme of things in Uttar Pradesh, image counts, but only to a certain extent. The votes will be in the name of Mulayam Singh Yadav, in the name of Chief Minister, and also Shivpal Yadav. Shivpal Yadav, with all his shortcomings, cannot be underestimated or cannot be wished away, because he has a certain clout over the organization and a certain clout with the voters as well.
is the key organization man, make no mistake, but he's also got several charges of corruption, high-handedness. In one public meeting, he said, "Thoda corruption to chalta hai." That's not the attitude with which you can function in today's India. Shivpal Yadav doesn't get it. I'm going to leave it there, Javed Ansari. Thank you very much for joining us. I want to bring you now excerpts from an interview my colleague Anjana Kashyap did with Shivpal Yadav this morning, where he talks about the current state of play and his relationship with Akhilesh Yadav.
मेरा पहला सवाल आपसे यही कि ये अखिलेश यादव ने चुनाव के पहले क्या कर दिया?
देखिए कुछ नहीं, ये तो पार्टियों में होता रहता है। और ये देखिए हमारी पार्टी के मुखिया हैं नेताजी, और नेताजी का जो फैसला होगा किसी की समाजवादी पार्टी में हैसियत नहीं है न माने। तो हम सब लोग मिल कर के चुनाव लड़ेंगे और 2017 में सबको जितने भी हैं उनको परास्त करेंगे और उत्तर प्रदेश में फिर सत्ता में।
नहीं, लेकिन अखिलेश यादव जिस तरह से अपने आप को असर्ट कर रहे हैं, सबको पता है कि क्या हुआ था। आपको एसपी यूपी का अध्यक्ष बनाया, फिर आपसे तमाम विभाग उन्होंने हटा लिए। मतलब ये अखिलेश यादव ऐसा क्यों कर रहे हैं? पिता की नहीं सुन रहे क्या?
देखिए मैंने जो कहा, नेताजी पिता भी हैं और समाजवादी पार्टी के मुखिया भी हैं, राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष भी हैं।
ये तो सबको पता है ना कि मुलायम सिंह यादव के प्रिय भाई कौन? शिवपाल यादव। अब उनको विभाग से हटाना तो सीधे नेताजी की नाराजगी मोल लेना है, लेकिन अखिलेश ने किया। क्यों किया?
ये मुख्यमंत्री का अधिकार होता है, किससे क्या काम लेना है, किसको मंत्री बनाना है, किसको मंत्री रखना है, किसको कौन सा विभाग देना है, तो ये तो उनके अधिकार।
मुख्यमंत्री जी नहीं सुन रहे क्या मुलायम सिंह यादव की?
देखिए उन्होंने अपने अधिकारों का जो है अधिकार उसका पालन किया है। और देखिए समाजवादी पार्टी में नेताजी की बात को सबको सुनना होगा,
पर वो तो नहीं सुन रहे ना। आप मूल बात को भुलाकर ऊपर से जवाब दे रहे हैं, वो तो सुन नहीं रहे। आपको विभाग से वो कैसे हटा सकते हैं? आप तो प्रिय भाई हैं मुलायम सिंह यादव के।
देखिए आप सब समझ रहे हैं, सब सुन रहे हैं, आप भी सुन रहे हैं, हम भी जवाब दे रहे हैं, और नेताजी की बात कोई नहीं टाल पाएगा।
पर मनमानी कर रहे हैं अखिलेश।
नहीं कर पाएंगे, सब मिलकर के फैसले लेंगे। सेंट्रल पार्लियामेंट बोर्ड है, फिर राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष नेताजी हैं, तो पार्टी में जो भी है तो सुनना पड़ेगा।
समझा पाएंगे आप लोग?
समझदार हैं, जल्दी समझेंगे।
लेकिन आपको लगता है युवा है इसीलिए जो फैसले वो ले रहे हैं, जमीन पर क्या जो शिवपाल यादव ने, मुलायम सिंह यादव ने काम किया है उसको नकार रहे हैं वो? क्योंकि छवि तो अच्छी नहीं जाती ना कि आपको विभाग से हटाना।
देखिए हम खुश हूँ,
और कितना भी हंस लीजिएगा सर, कहाँ ढक्कन लग पाएगा?
परेशानी नहीं।
तो मैराथन मीटिंग भाई से क्यों करनी पड़ी बीते दिन?
वो तो देखिए राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष है, उन्होंने जिम्मेदारी दी है, उनसे निर्देश लेना है संगठन के बारे में। चुनाव नजदीक है तो जाएंगे चुनाव के।
That's Shivpal Yadav. He's now out of the Akhilesh ministry. This game of thrones in Uttar Pradesh is getting more and more intriguing. At play is the future of the Samajwadi Party in India's most crucial electoral state. If Akhilesh can have his way, if Shivpal Yadav is shunted out, he can go to the voters with his youthful appeal, with the work that he's done. He runs the risk, though, of not having the backing of the key organization man, a man his father, Mulayam Singh Yadav, trusts very much. Let's shift our attention from Uttar Pradesh to Bihar now, where Mohammad Shahabuddin is out in the open. Lalu Yadav seems to be backing him. The district administration, though, is writing in panic to the state government, saying his presence in Siwan is a threat to the law and order. Rohit files this story from Siwan.
One of the country's most dreaded mafia don turned politician, Mohammad Shahabuddin. He's out of jail in Bihar and the state's worst fears are coming true. Siwan is in fear. This is a wake-up call for Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, and it comes from his own administrators. The administration wants Mohammad Shahabuddin behind bars. Chandrakeshwar Prasad, whose 3 sons were brutally murdered is knocking at the Supreme Court's door, seeking the cancellation of Shahabuddin's bail.
इनको जो है सुप्रीम कोर्ट से वे फांसी के सजा की भी मांग करें, हम तो यही चाहेंगे और हमने जो है कदम बढ़ा दिया है.
The CBI took over investigation into the murder of journalist Rajdev Ranjan after his wife approached the top court claiming a betrayal by the Nitish Kumar government in Bihar. But the Bihar government is yet to take a call on challenging Shahabuddin's freedom in the Supreme Court. Amidst this heat from opposition BJP, Lalu's son and the Deputy Chief Minister Tejasvi Yadav described Shahabuddin as an asset for the RJD.
क्या है नहीं है हम लोग जानते हैं बेहतर क्या है नहीं है अपने पार्टी के लिए. तो ये जो भी कुछ कहे ये अपना देखें ना, अपना पार्टी को देखें.
Nitish Kumar, under increasing pressure, remains silent. But can he afford to put his own credibility and the credibility of his government at stake on the issue of Mohammad Shahabuddin? With Rohit Singh in Patna, Bureau Report, India Today.
Rohit Singh is joining us live tonight from Siwan. Rohit, what is Shahabuddin doing and what's the thinking in the Nitish government? Will they be approaching the Supreme Court against Shahabuddin's bail plea? That's something Lalu doesn't want, or will they just let it lie?
Well, obviously, Lalu at this point of time doesn't want that Shahabuddin should go back to jail again, but there is immense pressure that is being mounted on Nitish Kumar government because remember because the Siwan administration has also been repeatedly sending reports to the state government in the last 3 to 4 days, and they have been saying that the atmosphere here on the ground is very tense. People are living under constant fear. Shops are not being opened by businessmen. The business community is living under fear, and that is why under such circumstances it would be the best solution that to send back Shahabuddin into jail. Now it's the question that whether Nitish Kumar will act on this report or not, because as I told you there is pressure mounting on him. The opposition has been attacking him. Why not impose CCA on him? Why not the Bihar government go to Supreme Court and challenge the bail petition? And now with this fresh report that has been sent by the Siwan administration, obviously there is something with that the Nitish government has in hand.
All right, I'm going to leave it there. Rohit, thanks very much for joining us. I spoke to Lalu Yadav earlier today. Here's a quick excerpt of what he told me.
लालू जी, हम पूछना चाह रहे थे, ये जो शाहबुद्दीन को लेके सब चल रहा है, उस पे आपकी क्या राय बन रही है? क्या सोच रहे हैं आप?
कोई राय नहीं बन रही है, इसका कोई मतलब नहीं है.
हाँ.
इसका फालतू बात ये सब चला है.
हाँ.
यहाँ पर कोई मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं है.
हाँ.
सब लोग हम लोग एक साथ हैं सब.
तो काफी दबाव
बोला तो बोला.
हाँ जी.
कुछ पोषण बोला, कुछ पोषण खराब बोला, ठीक सब थोड़ी बात है. मुख्यमंत्री हम लोग बना है तो सब मिलके बना है.
नहीं, काफी दबाव बन रहा है नीतीश जी पे कि अपील करें वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट में. सरकार पे दबाव बन रहा है कि वो अपील करें सुप्रीम कोर्ट में.
ये सब पर हम नहीं रहते हैं, ये सब आप लोग रहिए. सरकार पर कौन क्या कर रहा नहीं कर रहा हमको जानकारी ना है.
Lalu Yadav clearly doesn't care much about public perception. Nitish Kumar does. The question is, will he act? And if he does, what impact will that have on the alliance? This is a story we'll continue tracking very closely. This is where we wrap up the newsroom tonight. I look forward to seeing you at 10 p.m. tomorrow evening with another cracking edition of the newsroom. Till then, from all of us here on the India Today newsroom. Bye. Good night.